to this beat.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I can continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day, y'all. Every single day. Subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on iHeartRadio, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, and especially subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. You are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. We got a good one today, y'all. Hey, we got a good one today, y'all. I have to start this show off today. Like this. Today is my wife's birthday. We officially start my wife's birthday week, getting it going this evening. We're going to celebrate all over the place, and it's going to be amazing. I'll do some live videos, and I'll have stuff like that over the course of the next few days. But I want to say happy birthday to my lovely wife, and who's been my rock and who has helped guided me through this journey called life. And I couldn't ask for a better person, the sweetest person alive. And she's my rock. I love her. That is it. That is it. I love my baby. She's my best friend. I love her. So happy birthday, baby. Let's turn up. Let's talk about some basketball. Where should we start? Let's start with that tweet, or should I say that radio spot on 107.5. Let's start that radio spot on 107.5 in regards to, I guess, the CBS Sports does this minute highlight or minute or whatever you want to call it. And CBS Sports announcer said that he's hyped for the, more hype for the women's basketball tournament. And he said, I can't wait to see, Caitlin Clark, and I can't wait to see Angel Reese and that giant Brazilian, 6'7" giant Brazilian who pushes people down. So Dawn Staley, of course, came back and said, she tweeted she can't believe what was said and how it was on 107.5. 107.5 is an affiliate of, Columbia and Gamecocks and just like how. And then 107.5 came out with an apology saying that they didn't know that the cow was going to say that, and they don't have any, they don't know what spot they're going to do, and blah, 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 blah. All I'm saying is right here, for anyone to feel comfortable to say something like that in reference to our ladies, and in particular, Camila Cardozo, you didn't even say her name. Didn't even say her name. You said Angel Reese's name. You said Caitlin Clark's name. But you said that giant Brazilian who pushes people down. You didn't even recognize that she is somebody's child. That's not even recognized. And when we talk about basketball, and especially women's basketball, I take exception. I take exception to it because I got 3 girls. So when you disrespect, and you don't see anything wrong with it, when you disrespect young ladies, it just angers me. And this narrative of South Carolina playing physical, and we saw what happened last year with, talking about thugs and, monkeys and bar fights and all these different things that's been said about this basketball team. It really angers me because it's not about basketball. He didn't take into account, and I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy at all. I don't know what he represents. I don't know what he does, but You didn't take into account of the physical play of an Angel Reese who's pulling hair and blooded up Camila Cardozo's lip and elbows, all these different things happen in this game, but that game became a trending topic for basketball fans, not just for women's basketball. You had everybody talking about that game, and you had everybody talking about that melee, as they say it. We got to be really careful. Media got to be really careful about talking about players, talking about these young ladies, and the way it's being shaped or the way it's being framed is a way that's not formed fair. Not formed fair. Am I going to say that Camila Cardozo was wrong about with pushing flau'jae Johnson? I'm not going to say she was wrong. Wasn't wrong. She was wrong. But also, everything that led up to that moment was also wrong. It's basketball. It's physical. I grew up watching the NBA in the 80s and 90s. What we saw on Sunday was no comparison to what I grew up on. Now, what I don't like is the way that the media portrays our girls and portrays our head coach. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like it at all. Not a fan of that whatsoever. And the narrative of certain coaches can say whatever they want to say and no repercussions is getting old to me, bro. It's getting old to me. It's really old because that's not right. Because if Dawn Staley did those things, she'll be labeled worse than what she's labeled now. Because right now, in the media, in fans' eyes, you either like Dawn Staley or you hate Dawn Staley. Those are the terms. Ain't no middle ways. You like a lot or you hate her. And I'm seeing that more with our girls. You like them or you hate them. Especially when we, are so dominant winning basketball games. We've still lost one game, in the last 12 months. Almost 12 months. One game. So dominance sometimes begets, fear or hate or whatever. I'm just tired of it. So I saw that tweet. I said, I got to start on that. I got to talk about that because that was just weird. Yeah, y'all just constantly just belittling this team and continue to belittle this team, and we continue to beat up on y'all. It's so ridiculous. And I hate the fair weather fans of women's basketball who just show up when something bad happens. I don't like that. Either in or you out. And you got a lot of people in the fans or media, whoever, don't care for women's basketball. You do. Got some who don't care for it. Then you got some who love it, live, breathe, eat it. For the ones who don't care for women's basketball, don't talk about women's basketball. Don't talk about it. Because you're going to say something negative. That's just like talking about pro wrestling when you don't like pro wrestling. You're going to say something negative about it. Boxing, UFC, golf, whatever the sport is, if you don't like that individual sport, you're going to say something negative about it because you don't like it. You don't like it. If you love NFL, you ain't going to say nothing negative about NFL because you love NFL. But the people who come out and talk about that fight or that melee or that push or that whatever ain't talking about or wasn't talking about Carolina or LSU or women's basketball in general. It was just a buzzword to get clicks. And I understand. I see you. But I'm just tired of it. And we going into the NCAA tournament. The selection Sunday is on, this coming Sunday, 8:00. And I can't wait for all these various different teams to see where they're going to be playing, to see what location, because it's wonderful for the young ladies to go to experience all this. It's wonderful. This is a great move. Some of them may never go to the tournament ever again in life. Now, some of them going to be some sacrificial lambs and going to lose by 30, 40, 50 points. I understand that. They won their conference. Some of those teams that win the conference going to have to play some real basketball teams. Because right now in the bracketology, of course, South Carolina's #1 overall seed, and the teams that predicted to play against Carolina have to play in the play-in game, which is UT Martin and Presbyterian. UT Martin and Presbyterian. We played Presbyterian during in December and won by 70 points. Won by 70 points. But Presbyterian ranked 302nd, 303rd in the net ranking, and then you have UT Martin, who's 222nd in the net ranking. And Camila Cardozo is not playing in that first game. First round game. That's the thing. First round game. But come on. We're going to beat the tar out of the ball. Either one of those teams, with or without Camila Cardozo. But they made the tournament. They won their conference. And that should be congratulated. That should be hyped up. But basketball in earnest restarts next week. Restarts. I guess the play-in games start on Wednesday. Play-in game starts on Wednesday. We start basketball one more time, and we continue our push towards a national championship. Win 6 games, we cut down the nets. That's it. Win 6 games, we cut down the nets. Carolina is 32-0. We finished 38-0. We cut down the nets for the 3rd time in Cleveland, Ohio. Another thing I have to talk about is that ESPN, they did their own All-American stuff. And last night, the All-American team, they did the Player of the Year. They did the Freshman of the Year. They did all those things. And of course, it wouldn't be me if I would say I don't have a problem with it. It wouldn't be me. I just have to. I had a problem with the SEC awards, and I got a problem with these awards. I do because, and last night I was going back and forth a little bit on Twitter with some folks and everything, and I just don't. It's hard for me to gather. It's hard for me to understand. It's just hard for me to decipher what ESPN is looking at. It's hard for me to decipher what they are looking at. Somebody need to teach me. Somebody need to tell me. Somebody need to have a class with me and explain to me what is the criteria to win any of these awards. I just don't know. I don't know. Is it if the criteria is I have to be on a team? I have to be on a team where I am the central focus of the basketball team, meaning that I got to take the most shots. I got to take the most threes. I got to get the most rebounds. I got to get the most block shots. All those things. Then let that be the criteria. If the criteria is I don't look at defense, then let a brother know. Let me know, because I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand how some of these things work. Because if you are on a team that is stacked with quality players, if you're on a basketball team that has depth and multiple 5-star recruits, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about South Carolina. So if you're on a team like South Carolina and you have multiple 5-star recruits and multiple McDonald's All-Americans on this squad, and we are deep, you're not going to win any of these awards. I just have to look at that and say that we ain't gonna win any of these awards. But is that right? Is that right? Is it right for teams that are great to be penalized for individual awards? I don't understand why that's the case. Because in my mind, you reward players of the year, All-Americans, all those different things. Team play first, individual second. That's the way I think. Because if you've been number one all year long, with the exception of the first week, and the last year was 36-1, this year we 32-0. So that's what? 68-1. 68-1. Almost flawless. Almost flawless. But the players apparently ain't good enough to make an All-American Player of the Year, all these different things. They're not good enough, but they are good enough to be 68-1. You know, I don't understand. I just don't get it. But the crazy thing about it is ESPN had Dawn Staley as the coach of the year. Coach of the year. But none of our players was recognized. What? Somebody help me make sense of that. Somebody help me make sense. And we can talk about, with Dawn Staley replacing the starters and all these different players that were not on the squad. And I get it. I get that. And she should have been coach of the year. But still, what is the benefit of winning so many games, being so dominant, whooping everybody, when it comes to the actual awards that you never recognize? You never recognize. We have to win the championship. We don't win the championship, we aren't being recognized for those individual pieces. So we pick, and ESPN, I'm biased with ESPN anyway, because sometimes, especially with women's basketball, I don't know what the hell they're thinking about. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know what the hell they're seeing. But when you talk about like the All-American team, you talk about All-American team. And on the All-American team, you got Paige Beckers, you got Cameron Brink, you got Caitlin Clark, you got Hannah Hidalgo, and you have Juju Watkins. That is your All-American team. That's your All-American team. Those 5 players. And it was almost Elizabeth Kitley as well. So what you have in all these players, and I start with the player of the year by ESPN, Caitlin Clark, the poster child for college basketball now, men or women, who have set so many records and did so many things and sometimes folks will tell you, Captain Will, you hating on Caitlin Clark. It's like why you talk about Caitlin Clark? The reason I talk about Caitlin Clark, this is the reason I talk about Caitlin Clark. And I think she's an exceptional offensive basketball player. And if that is a criteria for being an exceptional offensive basketball player, then she is warranted player of the year. She's warranted player of the year. But I just don't see, if you play subpar defense, that you should still be garnered all these accolades. Caitlin Clark is averaging 34 minutes, averaging, 32 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 5 turnovers. Shoots 46% from the field, 38% from the 3, and 86% from the free throw line. That is Caitlin Clark. So what you have in Caitlin Clark, who is the 3rd highest in terms of usage in the country, you have a person who always have the ball in her hand. About 40% of the time, Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hand. So if you had a ball in your hand, you're going to have the most points. You're going to have the most assists. A lot of times you're going to have the most rebounds. And you're going to have the most turnovers because Caitlin Clark led the league in turnovers. But 46% from the field is less than a player like Tina Popow. 38% from three-point is way less than a player like Tina Popow. What Caitlin Clark has is she shoots a third of their shots. So if you shoot a third of your shots, you're going to put up crazy numbers. You're going to put up crazy numbers. And that's what we have from a player like Caitlin Clark. Through the season, she had 748 attempts. 748 attempts at the basket. 46%. The team as a whole, Iowa as a whole, has 2,172 attempts. That's almost 35% of the shots that Iowa take, Caitlin Clark is shooting. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then you take into account that a very good portion of the three-pointers that she shoot. You know, she shot 454 three-pointers. 454 three-pointers. The whole team shot 977. But it's still 38%. And again, if the criteria is volume shooting, then Caitlin Clark is the player of the year. But the last time I checked, I thought that the player of the year is supposed to have some semblance of defense. Just some semblance of defense. A little bit. Just a little bit of defense. Caitlin Clark is, how can I say? Bad at defense. Is that the term? Is that the term I want to use? Bad at defense? Not good? Let's say not good. I say not good. A defensive rating is 90.7. 90.7. And our offensive rating is 121.7. So if you just take the totality of points and rebounds and assists and all these different things that Caitlin Clark excels with because her usage is so high, the rating is still only 121.7. 121.7 in terms of offense and defense is 90.7. 121.7 is lower than Camila Cardoza. It's lower than Tina Popow. Her defense is lower than any player on our team, and it's not even close. But she is the player of the year because she takes upwards of 35% of the shots. That's a lot of shots. 748 shots. Of course, over the course of 33 games is 23 attempts per game. 454 three-pointers attempted over the course of 33 games is almost 14 three-pointers per basketball game. Almost 14 three-pointers per basketball game. I just have to know what is the criteria. I just have to know those things because at this point, we would never have a player who will win player of the year. Where it is the way this setup is done. Now, because we are infatuated, the media hypes up players who shoot a lot. The media hypes up players who shoot a lot. Caitlin Clark, player of the year. Juju Watkins, runner-up for player of the year. Is Juju Watkins a great basketball player? I think she's really good. But I just don't know. Because when you are so dominant with the basketball, because Juju Watkins have the #1 usage rate in the country. The #1 usage rate in the country is Juju Watkins. So if everything is going through Juju Watkins, everything, she's going to put up extreme numbers. She's going to put up extreme numbers. And if we look at Juju Watkins, she had 27 points per game. 27 points per game. 22 field goal attempts. She had 22 field goal attempts. She only shot 41% from the field. She shot 41% for the field. And the three-pointers, she shot 6 3-pointers a basketball game, but she only hit 32%. 32%, y'all. 41% from the field and 32% from the three-point line. That is much lower. Her field goal percentage is much lower than Pow, much lower than Breezy, much lower than Tessa, much lower than multiple players on this basketball game and our basketball team. And 32% from the three, she wouldn't even qualify on our team in terms of three-point shooting in the top 4. But she shoots a lot of shots. And when you're enamored with so many volume shooters, you're going to get a bunch of points. But it's not being efficient. 41% from the field is not being efficient, y'all. Off 22 shots. 32% from the three is not being efficient, y'all, with 6 three-pointers attempt. She's solid, really good from the free throw line, 85%, average 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block and a half, 4 turnovers. Yeah, she turned over the ball a lot because she has a high usage. And then what I do like about Juju Watkins is she plays defense. So defensive rating is 82.9. She plays defense, unlike some of the players on this list. She plays defense, 82.9. Now, it's not Raven Johnson type defense. It's not that. It's not MiLaysia Fulwiley type defense. It's not that. I can move on with Cardoza and Watkins and so many different players on our team in terms of defense, Chloe Kitts. And her offensive rating, because of her low shooting percentages, is only 103.5. But we see points. We see so much shooting that we don't see nothing else. We don't see nothing else. Juju Watkins is not an efficient shooter, y'all. She is not an efficient shooter. If Juju was on South Carolina, first off, she wouldn't be shooting that many times in a basketball game. Let's begin there. She wouldn't be shooting that many times, especially if she's not hitting a whole lot of these shots. But on a team like Southern Cal, this year, she has a green light to shoot the rock all the time. And that's what she's been doing. That's what she's been doing. It's something. It's something to watch. And then, Juju was the freshman of the year, according to ESPN, and Hannah Hidalgo was, the runner-up. And Hannah Hidalgo, I think, is going to be a really good basketball player. But again, these are more volume shooters. Oh, the 3 of these: Hannah Hidalgo, Caitlin Clark, and Juju Watkins are volume shooters. That's what they do. They are volume shooters. Hannah Hidalgo averages 18 attempts per game. 18 attempts per game, 45% from the field. That's what she do. 45% from the field. She averages 4 attempts from the three-point line. She's averaging about 35% from 3. 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals. She gets a lot of steals. She does. She averages almost 4 turnovers as well. But she does get a lot of steals. She gambles a lot. But, ladies and gentlemen, she's playing 36 minutes a game. 36 minutes a game with 18 attempts per basketball game. Our girls don't play that way. We don't play that way. 18, 20, 25 attempts per basketball game. We don't do that. But Hannah Hidalgo, with her 18 attempts per basketball game and shooting 45%, is lower than our starting guards. Her 35% from the 3 is all right. It ain't 48%, it ain't 49%, it ain't like that. It's all right. But the picture, the narrative of the way that these awards are going out is because they shoot the ball so much. So I might be answering the question myself. I think I'm answering the question myself. You have to shoot the basketball a lot in order to be nominated or in order for you to win an award. In order to be in the running for any of these awards, you have to shoot the basketball a lot. Hannah Hidalgo is a sensational defensive player. Her defensive rating is 73.5. That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. That is like Raven Johnson level on defense. Perimeter guards. Her offensive rating is 112.4. I can make the case that Hannah Hidalgo overall, with her offensive rating and a defensive rating, should have won the freshman of the year. She should have. Does she have the volume of shooting that a Juju Watkins have? No, she does not. She don't. Now, when I say she don't have the volume of shooting of Juju Watkins, that means Juju Watkins shoot the ball a whole lot. Whole lot. But her field goal percentage is higher. Her three-point percentage is higher. Paige Beckers on the All-American team. Paige Beckers has, overcome injury. UConn has overcome so many injuries. And they are a really good basketball team. And Vegas are very high on UConn in this tournament. And Paige Beckers averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, only 1 turnover per basketball game. She's shooting about 14 and a half, 15 attempts per game. Her field goal percentage is much higher. Paige Beckers is shooting 54%. 54% from the field. Her threes are 42% off 5 attempts, 85% from the free throw line. Those are excellent numbers. Excellent numbers for Paige Beckers because she's more efficient shooting the basketball. And she has a higher field goal percentage than a Caitlin Clark, than a Juju Watkins, than a Hannah Hidalgo, and her three-point percentage is higher than all of those as well. I mean, Paige Beckers is having a sensational year, y'all. Sensational year. And just by the numbers, her offensive rating is 132.8. Her defensive rating is 76.9. That is straight up nice. That is nice. Paige Beckers, by the numbers alone, should be the player of the year for college basketball. You thought I was going to say like a Kamilla Cardozo because I rock with Kamilla Cardozo, but Kamilla Cardozo's offensive rating is lower than Paige Beckers, 132.8. That's high. Her defensive rating is 76.9. Now, Cardozo's is around 67, 68, but 76.9 is sensational for a guard. It's sensational for a guard. Paige Beckers should be the player of the year, especially after overcoming that injury. She's shown me a lot. She has shown me a lot. But she don't shoot as much as Caitlin Clark. She don't shoot as much as Caitlin Clark. So she still made the All-American team. She did. And then the last one is Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink announced that she's going to the W. She's going to the W. And the last time I checked, she is predicted to go to the Sparks. She's predicted to go to the Sparks, I think at number 2. And she's been having a great year. And she's a big that actually plays big. And I like that. And by comparison's sake, Brink averaged about 12 attempts per game, 51% for the field. She does shoot about 2 threes a game, but she should not be because it's only 29%. Only 29%, but she's a really good, free throw shooter, 85%, averaging 18 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks per basketball game. Those are really solid numbers. Really solid numbers. And those numbers are comparison to our own Kamilla Cardozo. The defensive rating is about the same. 69.6. Kamilla Cardozo just a tick bit better. Just a tick better than Brink. Brink's offensive numbers is 122.5, which is lower than Kamilla Cardozo. Now, Kamilla Cardozo is not getting 14 attempts for basketball. She's not getting 14 attempts at the goal. She's not. So is that the reason that our Brazilian queen did not make any of these lists? Because she's not getting enough attempts? Kamilla Cardozo is averaging 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocked shots off about 10 attempts per basketball game. 10 attempts. She's shooting at 58% from the field. Okay. Her rating, her offensive rating is 126.2. 126.2. Defensive rating is 71.8. So I was wrong in that regard. Cameron Brink's defensive rating over the whole season is actually better than Kamilla Cardozo. 71.8. But Camilla's offensive rating is about 5 points higher than Brink. Overall, if you look at offensive rating and defensive rating, the net rating is Kamilla Cardozo should be on this list. She should be on this list. She should be All-American. She should be. But only 9.5 attempts per basketball game. That's it, 9.5. You got some players averaging 23, 14, 16. Kamilla only averaging 9.5. Fulwiley's only averaging 9.5. Pow, 8.6. Bree Hall, 8.1. Our girls aren't going to be recognized by the metric that is being established by the national media. Our girls are not going to be recognized by these standards because we do not shoot the ball enough to be in those positions. We won't. We don't shoot the ball individually enough. Minutes per play. Raven Johnson leads the team in minutes. You talking about 28 minutes a game. Pow, 28 minutes a game. Breezy, 27 minutes a game. Cardozo, 25 minutes a game. Watkins, 20 minutes a game. And Chloe, 19 minutes. Our own MiLaysia Fulwiley is averaging 19 minutes a game. When you have, and it is so difficult to compare a player like MiLaysia Fulwiley, who's averaging 19 minutes a game, against a player like a Juju Watkins and a Hannah Hidalgo, who's averaging 35, 36 minutes per basketball game. It's hard because we play with better talent and they're not getting as many minutes. I am upset about the way they do these All-American teams and put so much attention on volume shooting and not enough attention on efficiency and defense. I am upset about that. I'm upset. Caitlin Clark shouldn't be our player of the year. It should be Paige Beckers. Cameron Brink should not be on this list. It should be Kamilla Cardozo. And that's no disrespect to Cameron Brink. You know, real talk, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100 for y'all. I'm going to keep it real. Because Cardozo should be on the list. But I would probably take off instead of because Brink and Cardozo are very similar in regards to stats and things and the ratings and things like that. And people are gonna look at me like, Cap, you crazy. I would take off Juju. I would take off Juju. She's not an efficient shooter. She is not an efficient shooter. You can't be averaging, so many attempts and have that shooting percentage of that degree. You talk about 22 attempts in a basketball game, you're only shooting 41%. You're talking about 6 attempts at the three-point line, and you're only shooting 32%. 34 minutes a game. 4 turnovers. We just don't talk about those things. I know I'm gonna hear some stuff. Like, you take Juju. Yes, I would take Juju Watkins off this list and add Kamilla Cardozo. I would. Juju's offensive rating, which people don't think about, don't look up, don't talk about it, is only 103.5 because of her weak percentages in field goal and 3-pointers. We just got to keep it real. We just got to keep it 100. So I'm cool. If I had to do this, I would say Paige Beckers is the player of the year. I would say that All-American team would be, I would say Juju Watkins to be removed, and I would have Camila Cardoza on that team. And that's just the way I see it. The numbers don't lie. I say again, men and women lie, but numbers don't lie. They don't. They don't. And we're going to get a whole lot of debate about this, but it's all good. It's all good. We keep it great. We keep it groovy with that. This includes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I can continue to bring you that gospel of Gamecocks every single day. You are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go.